Hey, welcome to the Soul Chew Podcast. My name is Josh. I'm looking forward to chewing on some interesting food for thought cooked up by one of my favorite psychologists, Dr. Jordan B. Peterson. I was listening to a recent episode of the Jordan B. Peterson Podcast called Adam and Eve, Self-Consciousness, Evil, and Death. It's a 2-hour and 35-minute episode. It might be a little long for you to sit and listen to it, so I encourage you to walk around, go for a walk, do the dishes, clean the backyard, listen to the entire episode. It is so good. You can get the episode at jordanbpeterson.com and just click on his podcast tab. I'm going to play a fascinating excerpt from that episode that had me asking this question: is the coronavirus testing us? I'm going to play this excerpt, then we're going to come right back and chew on this. Check this out. Oh, by the way, I added some cinematic music underneath Jordan Peterson talking about this. It's about 2 minutes long, so hang in there. Hopefully the music will tune you in.
If you want to make something strong, you test it. And maybe if you want to make something ultimately strong, you test it ultimately. And I think that there's an aspect of being that has that element, that human beings are tested ultimately. Well, I had a vision once. I shouldn't tell you this, but I will anyways. I had a vision once that I went to heaven, and I was put in a Roman amphitheater with Satan. And so that was rather a shock, because I thought that was a hell of a thing to happen in heaven. And so I had this battle, and I won. And at the end, I came up to God and said, what's with the whole Roman amphitheater thing there? It seemed like a bit over the top to me. Why would you put me in a ring with something like that? And he said, because I knew you could win. There's something to that in my estimation. It's like, do you protect the people you love, or do you try to make them strong? It seems to me there's something like consciousness through tragedy, clarity through suffering, maybe something like that. Or maybe the perfection that lurks as a potential in the future is something that has to be earned rather than given. Maybe it has no value without free choice. Maybe we have to distinguish between good and evil now that we have the capacity to actually apprehend them. Maybe that's what life is about. Maybe that's the separating of the wheat from the chaff. See, that's the idea in Revelation, right? Because when Christ comes back in the book of Revelation, he divides the damned from the saved. And the saved are the people who lived in Logos, and the damned are those who don't. And so there's this idea that there's this dynamic that underlies experience that is in fact that sorting. Now, I don't know what to make of that. But what I can make of that is that lies and deception destroy people's lives. And when they start telling the truth and acting it out, things get a lot better.
Wow. This pandemic has been brutal on so many levels, and the word that has been used over and over and over, and maybe even overused, is the word unprecedented. But truly, this time in our life has been unlike anything we have ever experienced before. I mean, this is huge, guys. This is something that we will be talking about for the rest of our lives, and God willing, let's pray that truly the worst is behind us, because if we have not seen the worst, then friends, I can't imagine how worse it could get. Jordan Peterson seems to believe that it's tragedy that promotes consciousness, and that it's suffering that develops clarity. What do you think about that? So you mean to tell me that we've got to get into a UFC cage or a boxing ring with Satan himself just to make us more aware of our existence? Just to make us more conscious? You mean to tell me that I've got to go head to head with Satan just to bring me a little bit more clarity about life? You know, as counterintuitive as this idea that Jordan Peterson presents sounds to our American dream of comfort and success and avoiding at all cost suffering and tragedy, I think Jordan Peterson might be onto something. And friends, as tragic as this entire pandemic has been, as tragic as it has been for families to lose loved ones so suddenly, this whole coronavirus thing might just be bringing a greater sense of consciousness and clarity and beauty to our life that we really need right now. But gosh, dancing with the devil ain't fun. I read a story this week about a nurse who, on the fly, while doing her job at a hospital, had one of her COVID patients code blue, and deciding to run into the room before grabbing a mask for her own self, she did her job. She went into that room and saved that individual's life, and 14 days later, she died from the coronavirus. I mean, those kind of stories make me say, why, God? And I can't say that he's answered me, but if waking me up and helping me see what a gift my life is, if clarity of the honor we all have to live is the lesson in this battle with the devil, in this battle with coronavirus, is what this is all about, then okay. That actually makes some sense and feels hopeful. Hey, thanks for tuning in to the Soul Chew podcast. I hope these words today were thought-provoking and encouraging to the soul. Until next time, I'm Josh. Bye-bye.